Okay, this is a trio of contracts that I have titled the "We will never win a championship now" contracts.
Again, you were
Um,
up late.
yeah, I was deep in my bag with the names, with the naming of stuff. I actually no, I'm not going to get to it. So the first deal that we're going to talk about very shortly, the Bradley Beal deal that my Washington Wizards gave. I'm literally going to say this right now. What the fuck were they thinking? I like Bradley Beal. He's a great player. I like the Wizards. I haven't really agreed with any decision they've made that's been like larger than just like a mid-tier type of decision. Maybe since I've been able to understand that like people actually make those decisions. Players don't just like start appearing on your team, right? They gave Gilbert Arenas the big ass extension coming off the knee injury. They do all sorts of dumb fucking shit. The John Wall contract extension 2 years before, it was just for fuck's sake. Bradley Beal got 5 years, 251 million. We talked about that last time. But you know what we learned afterwards? The details. He's the only player in the fucking NBA with a full no trade clause.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's
like
got
one
a
of 11 players in history or something to have a full no trade clause.
and he's got a fifth-year player option. Not only did they give him an insane amount of money, which I'm cool with, they also gave him all the like insane perks.
It's like the best contract ever.
Yeah, the whole point of giving him that much money is that he can't get the full no trade clause and the fifth-year player option. That's the fucking point of giving him all that money. The point isn't to give him all the money and then all the fucking power. It's like, what are you guys fucking doing?
Dude, I'm sorry to say it, but your team it feels like it's got a poverty mind state. It's like, if anybody wants to play for us, man, we got to keep them, it's unfortunate. And I really hope that for your sake, eventually there's like new ownership, new management, something, whatever it takes to get a group of people that are willing to go, we'll tank for draft picks, or like we will trade a star, it's too bad. This contract sucks for the Wizards.
Yeah, so the worst part is if he does demand a trade, he can just demand where he wants to go, and they're kind of fucking stuck with it. Like,
Yeah.
it's horrible. But it's gonna be fun watching him win like 44 games. Him and Porzingis, who
I like it. We talked about this privately. I do think the Wizards could put together a pretty competitive team next year, but like, I just would like them to take a different direction,
same here, like one that might actually have some high end payout. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of a team that has no aspirations of any high end payout, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls giving Zach LaVine a 5-year, $215.2 million contract. I don't know all the bells and whistles on this one. There's possibility that there's an opt out. There's possibility there's like some injury protections. Maybe the last year is it fully guaranteed. I fucking hate this deal. I think LaVine is a really good player. I think he's kind of in that Beal tier though, where if you start paying him max money, he's not giving you max level production, and it kind of caps where you can be as a team. And then the final issue I have with this, like LaVine's tore his ACL and then was having issues in that same knee this season. Guys that are reliant on their athleticism who have knee troubles before 30, I don't like giving them $200 million. Just, I feel very uncomfortable with it. They also, as you were saying, kind of have a poverty franchise mindset in my mind.
I agree. I agree. I feel like what happened with the Bulls in this current iteration of the Bulls was, okay, first of all, this team doesn't like to be bad for long. Obviously, they were dynasty through the 90s, and then the Tom Thibodeau era was really good too. I always felt like those teams had a real chance. It was a different time, the spacing was bad, but the defense was incredible, and they had Derrick Rose. But ever since then, it's like, man, they can't seem to pick a direction. They rebuild for a season, and then they're like, you know what? We hate this. Like, let's just go get some veterans. And they get, it reminds me of that Jimmy Butler, Rajon Rondo, Dwayne Wade season where it's like,
no. It's not that. It's
why?
the three alphas.
What do you mean?
They called themselves the three alphas as a dead ass serious nickname.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
The funniest shit in history.
Yeah, the alphas are way out into the first round, and
three alphas. Oh my God.
And so that didn't work. And then they moved on from that. But it's like they never commit to rebuilding. And then they're quick to rebuild, but then they're quick to abandon the rebuild. It's kind of frustrating. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I hate the contract as much as you do. But it is generous, for sure. Yeah.
Well, they needed to give it to him to keep him, and I get that, but they really shouldn't have fucking giving DeMar DeRozan all that money and run the offense through him. Like LaVine's value is tied to his offense. Run the offense through him more. Maybe they'll do that. But hey, like
the thing is, DeRozan's useless off the ball, right? So you've either got to. It's tricky.
It's true because LaVine's like a great second best offensive player on your team, maybe third best overall player on your team. But giving those guys that type of money with the current roster they have, I don't see any championship upside. All right, let's talk about a player who's actually really fucking good. And we're not really criticizing this person for their level of play and their current contract, but Damian Lillard signed a 2-year, $121.7 million extension. In his age 36 season now, he will be paid $63.2 million as a 36-year-old. I hope he ages well. I hope he ages like a really fine Northern California wine that's close to Portland up there. But Lillard is essentially now on a 5-year, $258.69 million contract. Like Lillard can be the best player on a championship team, definitely the best offensive player on a championship team. But I feel like this extension, basically, with the current roster they have, puts a nail in their coffin of ever being able to win a championship with him, just because how do you even fit new players in when he's 35 making $60 million?
I think the issue is that they shouldn't have re-signed him at all, right? It's been time to trade Lillard, man. You know, Dame time long expired, but like I just think that what I think is happening with this organization is there is a mutual interest between player and franchise in sticking together. I think Dame, like, I'm not questioning his competitiveness, but I think it's more important to him to try to win a championship with the Blazers than it is to win a championship at all. Because I think, and I have some respect for it too. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I do. But like, it just is what it is, you know? And I think the Blazers are definitely one of those small market teams that would prefer to be good and not risk being bad rather than either be bad or great, you know? Like they're content with this. The Blazers don't really need to win NBA championships. They just need to be good enough to keep the people coming in, right? Like the Pacers. They're the Pacers West. Although the Pacers are doing great things right now. And anyway, I just don't love the situation from the perspective of like if I was a Blazers fan, I would feel like, oh, great, we're just never going to win an NBA championship, you know? I have said this before. I'm thankful to root for a team that is willing to like take risks and make big swings and stuff like that. But every team runs differently, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Every team runs differently. They have different motivations. I just look at this extension. I'm just like, look, if this is the only way Damian Lillard's going to stick around, he doesn't really want to fucking stick around. Like, that is like, I think like that's to be the thing. Like, like I want to stay here. It wouldn't mean would mean, and I agree with him. And I think more players should have this mindset. It means more winning a championship with certain teams in certain markets than it does winning it for other ones, right? And like that's real. LeBron James won a championship for the Cavaliers. That one championship means so much more than the one he won for the Lakers and probably the two he won with the Heat. I mean, like, that is a difference maker. And I believe that players should touch into that. And I'm glad Damian Lillard like kind of like sees that and believes in it, where it's like winning once with a certain team is better.
Yes, I agree. Well, the team that drafted you, really, right? That's that from the narrative. For the most part, that's what it is.
Or yeah, but you know, it could be like, you could go to like Oklahoma City. Like if SGA won a championship for Oklahoma City, it would mean more than if like he was like, fuck this noise, I'm going to go to like the, somewhere else. Or actually winning one
Rockets.
For the Knicks. Winning one for the Knicks would mean a bunch. Because
if anyone wins one for the Knicks, it means a bunch. So that's, you're right. Yeah.
He still went to the Knicks.
Let me say this to that too, though. Part of why that LeBron championship just like holds such a strong place in the fabric of the league's history is because they were underdogs in the series, right? Whereas like when you look at those Heat championships, it's like if you don't win, you look like a bozo, and if you do win, it's just like what was supposed to happen, you know? So there are a lot of factors at play, but the problem is they're not going to win a championship, right? But over the course of this contract,
if they made the finals, like I could see them,
they're not going to make the finals.
I mean, I don't think so either, but like they have enough talent as is right there that if things go right, Dame, like people forget, Dame didn't play last year. When he did, he was like, dealing with injury. Dame is like one of the 5 best offensive players in the league the last time he was healthy.
Permanently declined, but
yes,
yeah, last we saw him healthy, he was definitely that.
Yeah, he's like a force of fucking nature.
So who's the second best player on this team?
Josh Hart.
Jeremy Grant.
Oh God. I mean, look, this is the thing. This team has, I know, but they have him, and then they have like, their starting lineup has good players. Like they don't have a bunch of superstars, but they have good players. And
That's
Anthony
true.
Simons is a good player. And if
actually he's probably the second best player on the team now,
at least offensively. And if like, he those gains he showed when they gave him the keys are real. And we're talking about a guy like a team that's going to be good. I don't know how good, but Shaedon Sharpe comes back and looks pretty good in limited action. They might have themselves the ability to go and get a guy who says, fuck, like what if you package Anthony Simons and fucking, well, I guess I don't know if you could trade him but Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe and salary, and go get Donovan Mitchell and just recreate the team that could
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, when you start looking at Simons and Sharpe as like trade assets rather than than players, it's like I guess they have a pretty good package. Like if all they need is somebody to demand a trade and they'll have a competitive offer. Sharpe looks good. So yeah, you make some points. Let's bring it home, man. I gotta go.